योगेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गिरधार शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So studying from Canto 2, the Cosmic Manifestation, Chapter 1, the first step in God realization, verse number 30. 30 we're doing today, right? 30. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Jo rakshini chakshura bhut patangah pakshamani vishnurahani yubhecha तद्भ्रू विजृम्भः परमेष्टिधिष्ण्यम् अपोष्यतालुरस एव जिह्वा द्योरक्षिणी चक्षुरभूत्पतङ्गः पक्षमाणि विष्णोरहानि अहनि उभे च तद्भ्रू विजृम्भः परमेष्टिधिष्ण्यम् आपोष्यतालुरस एव जिह्वा द्योरक्षिणी चक्षुरभूत्पतङ्गः पक्ष्माणि विष्णोरहनि उभे च तद्भ्रू विजृम्भः परमेष्टिधिष्ण्यम् आपोष्यतालुरस एव जिह्वा द्योरक्षिणी चक्षुरभूत्पतङ्गः पक्ष्माणि विष्णोरहनि उभे च तद्भ्रू विजृम्भा परमेष्टिधिष्ण्यम् आपोष्यतालुरस एव जिह्वा
द्योरक्षिणी चक्षुरभूत्पतङ्गः पक्ष्मानि विष्णुरहनि उभे च तद्भ्रू
विजृम्भः परमेष्टिधिष्ण्यम्
अपोष्यतालुरस एव जिह्वा
द्योरक्षिणी चक्षुरभूत्पतङ्गः पक्ष्माणि विष्णोरहनि उभे च तद्भ्रू विजृम्भः परमेष्टिधिष्ण्यम् आपोष्यतालुरस एव जिह्वा द्योरक्षिणी चक्षुरभूत्पतङ्गः पक्ष्माणि विष्णोरहनि उभे च तद्भ्रू विजृम्भः परमेष्टिधिष्ण्यम् आपोष्यतालुरस एव जिह्वा। Synonym, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Dyo, the sphere of outer space. Akshini, the eyeballs. Chakshu, of eyes, senses. Abhut, it so became. Patangaha, the sun. Pakshmani, eyelids. Vishnu, of the personality of Godhead, Sri Vishnu. Ahani, day and night. Ubhe, both. Cha, and Tat, his. Bhru, eyebrows. Vijrambaha, movements. Parameshti, the supreme entity Brahma. Tishnyam, post. Apaha, Varuna, the director of water. Asya, his. Talu, palate. Rasaha, juice. Eva, certainly. Jihva, the tongue. Translation. The sphere of outer space constitutes his eye pits, and the eyeball is the sun as the power of seeing. His eyelids are both the day and night, and the movements of his eyebrows, Brahma and similar supreme personalities reside. His palate is the director of water, Varuna, and the juice or essence of everything is his tongue. To common sense, the description in this verse appears to be somewhat contradictory, because sometimes the sun has been described as the eyeball and sometimes as the outer space sphere. But there is no room for common sense in the injunctions of the Shastras. We must accept the description of the Shastras and concentrate more on the form of the Virat Rupa than on common sense. Common sense is always imperfect, whereas the description in the Shastras is always perfect and complete. If there is any incongruity, it is due to our imperfection and not the Shastras. That is the method of approaching Vedic wisdom. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivedanta Purports ki jai. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. This is a section where we have been seeing that the Virat Rupa has been described by Sukadeva Goswami. And as we see that, a lot of devotees have described, the basic concept, because when we want to understand something, if the concepts are clear, it becomes very easy to understand. And then it is very easy to explain to others also. Now, what is the difference between an expert and a master? An expert is someone who is expert and can explain it to other similarly intelligent students. But master is the one who not only understands everything, but also breaks up into smaller bits and makes it easily digestible for one and all. That's why the Chinese martial arts, who are the teachers? What is the name of the teacher? They're called master, right? Because even though it's very difficult, very technical, but by years of constant practice, they break it up and then they teach just very, very ordinary students. Prabhupada says here that there's no room for common sense in the injunction of Shastras. Of course, as we know also, the saying goes, common sense is very uncommon. Because most people don't have common sense, and that's why the issues happen. But also Prabhupada says here, there's no place of common sense in the injunction of Shastras. Why? Why our own common sense is not accepted against the injunction of Shastra? Yes?
Because it's made from our imperfect sense.
Very good, very good. And what are the four imperfections? What are the four imperfections?
Senses.
No. Four imperfections.
Senses.
Imperfect senses.
Okay.
Mind.
Okay, so because we have imperfect senses, yes, agreed?
Yes.
From imperfect senses, yes, agreed?
Illusion.
Okay, from imperfect senses we make mistakes. Yeah? So we make mistakes and then,
Lie.
yes, we cheat. Because we want to hide those mistakes, we cheat. There's a tendency to cheat or to lie. And then when we are under the impression that everything is okay, even with my imperfect senses, that is the illusion. So we are always under illusion. So these are the 4 defects. This is the ABC of spiritual life. But it is nice to just recap the 4 imperfections of our senses. Now, Prabhupada, he's speaking about, okay, there might be some incongruity in the Shastra sometimes. Now, our acharyas described that sometimes when you find incongruities or sometimes when you find some differences in description of Leela. Many times you hear that one Leela has been spoken as one way and the other Leela has been spoken another way. So, is there any difference? Is there any incongruity? No. If you want to write down, our acharyas say that this is because of kalpa bheda. What is the meaning of kalpa bheda? Yes. Yes. So different places in different universes, this Leela is happening in different ways. Same Leela is happening in different ways. So that's called kalpa bheda. So because of kalpa bheda, there might be incongruity, but the Shastras never lie. In the beginning, when Prabhupada used to criticize the landing on moon, the landing on moon, so devotees used to come and say, Prabhupada, but actually, there are photos and videos of we actually seeing people landing on moon. And Prabhupada said that's all bogus, because moon is not what they think is moon. And then when devotees used to argue, Prabhupada says you have to have faith in Bhagavatam. So either you choose the modern science or you choose Srimadbhagavatam. And as we know, Srimadbhagavatam has been there and is applicable for, from time immemorial. It's been there. So now, I want to touch on a subject which, we want to learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. At the same time, we want to understand, make it relevant to our lives, and then not only have faith in what we are learning, but also we have so much conviction that we can convince others. Many times devotees, when we don't understand these concepts, it becomes difficult for us to explain someone. Yesterday I was speaking to a devotee, and the devotee was telling me that someone who's that close to that devotee, they were asking questions, why you do this, why do that? And then that devotee was, finding it difficult to answer those questions. And then the devotee was always saying, okay, you wait till you come here and then we will introduce you to our gurus and then you can ask them all the questions. So yes, that's the right way, of course, but also the concept must be clear so that the conviction is there. Now for us, we also know, Krishna says in the Chatushloki, the third Chatushloki, Tesham satat yuktanam bhajtam priti purvam tam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenama upiyanti te. So Krishna says, to those who are constantly devoted to me, what do I do? That's the reciprocation of Krishna. Because 8th and 9th verse of 10th chapter, Krishna says, okay, what the devotees do, right? But then what does Krishna do? He has to, fulfill the part of his deal, yeah? So his deal is, I give the understanding by which they come to me. So we are devotees, we want to learn, and then Krishna gives us that understanding. Yes, agreed? Okay. Another thing which we also agree, is Krishna the best instructor? The supreme instructor? Yes? Yes. Yes or no? Yes. Yes, okay. So then let's see something. If something is being taught by someone very clearly, very clearly, right? Will everyone understand that?
No, it depends on the intelligence.
Very good. Okay, the first answer you think, if everything is explained clearly, then, everyone, we are 4, 6, 8, 10 people here, everyone must understand. But no, then when you ride on that chain of thought, you think actually, maybe, some people are naturally smarter than others. So if some people are naturally smarter than others, then it will be easily understood. And especially if coming from Krishna, the supreme instructor. Yeah. But then we'll see there's another point also. So someone who breaks things down and breaks things down into easily digestible pieces, yeah? How Krishna explains from 2nd chapter, verse 12 to 31, you are the soul. And then he explains how you are the soul. Everything is given. So he breaks up into smaller pieces about karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, everything, so that we can easily understand. Okay? But then some people are smarter than the others, so they can easily understand. Some people, maybe not. Now, even an excellent teacher of any ordinary subject can teach the students. But why do some understand and why do not some understand? That is the question which Prabhupada speaks about here. He says, why there is no place for common sense in the injunction of Shastra is the willingness what we have. Along with the imperfections what we have is our willingness to learn. Yeah? So, even a perfect teacher like Krishna, he cannot teach an unwilling student. As we see, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, these are open secrets. Open secrets. People who study Bhagavad Gita, but they cannot make head or tail out of it, and mostly they will leave studying Bhagavad Gita after first, second chapter maximum. They said we cannot understand anything. So willingness to study is the most important aspect from our side. The willingness has to be there. Now Krishna, he teaches two things in Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, one is the Siddhanta, the philosophy. The other one is the sadhana, which is practice. That's philosophy and practice. Yes? Do we understand philosophy?
Right.
Try to understand philosophy, okay? Yes? Even trying is success, as Krishna says in 240. Yes? Difficult part is the practice. With our very busy lives, difficult part is the practice. Yes, we understand philosophy. I am not the body of the soul. But practice is very, very important also. So, whether it's a material topic or a spiritual topic, same thing, you study engineering, you study theoretically, Siddhanta you understand, but if you don't practice, what happens? You're not able to remember that, the practice will be lost, you won't be able to update yourself, so many things happen. So whether it's material or spiritual, to understand a topic requires something from us, and that is our willingness. So when we have this willingness to accept the mercy of the superiors by understanding the Siddhanta and by practicing the Siddhanta, it's very important. Sometimes we have made up our own minds, not sometimes. Most times we have made up our own minds. And then when some instruction comes from spiritual teachers, we try to argue. We try to justify our stand. We try to, because of our conditioning, of course. But the spiritual leaders, the spiritual authorities, they know us more than ourselves. Yeah? If we tell something to someone, it is not that, it's coming out some whimsically. It is coming out of the understanding of the spiritual authorities. There are, the mercy comes from the instructions of the Lord. We follow the instructions and we get the mercy. Yes? The Vaishnava authorities say that our spiritual awakening comes from 5 sources. The first one is Krishna. Yeah? So the mercy comes from Krishna. The second one is the scriptures. The third one comes from one's own guru. Fourth is the pure devotees. Right? And fifth one is ourselves. The mercy, the instructions come from 5 sources: Lord Krishna, the scriptures, the spiritual master, the pure devotees, and ourselves. So when we take advantage of the instructions and understand the Siddhanta and practice of the other 4, right, then we get mercy from our own self. You want me to break that up again? So if Krishna says something, and we accept that and implement that and practice that, then we get mercy from Krishna. Same thing happens in the scriptures. Prabhupada says so many things very clearly. Common sense, don't use common sense. Shastra says this, accept it. But still what we do? Prabhu, how can this be true? Come on, we see the videos and, we see this, so many things happening. But no, Shastra is saying that just accept it. But at the same time, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, he says that yes, don't accept anything blindly. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Yes, in the 4th chapter he says, yes, approach someone who has understood the science. And not only understood the science, by rigorous practice, by performing austerities, by practicing discipline, they have actually realized it. So if someone has the knowledge, someone has realized it, why don't accept from there? So that's why when we come as a student, even when devotees, practice for many, many years, after many years of practice, if the spiritual master says something, there's no argument. There's no point of any arguing. Not that, Maharaj, you don't understand where I come from, you don't do, no. Just accept it. Just accept it. Of course, when you accept it, the mercy comes. And then, if there's still any doubt, you can present the doubt, very, very respectfully. And then the spiritual master will understand, and then the doubt will be again sorted out. So from these 5 authorities, we follow the instructions, we get the mercy, and the spiritual awakening happens. So when Krishna speaks as an authority, we should have the willingness to believe what he says, yes? So as we say, he presents the philosophy and the practice. And then Krishna says, yes, as we saw, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So 2 things he says, yes, love me, and one of the other instructions he says, approach a spiritual master. Yes. This theme is being repeated in many, many places. When Dhruva Maharaj goes to a forest, then he meets Narad Muni. In the beginning, Dhruva Maharaj doesn't listen to Narad Muni. He says, what you say is correct, everything what you say is correct, but I am a Kshatriya, my Kshatriya conditioning will not allow me to do what you tell me to do. And then Narad Muni tells him, okay, then do this. Then Dhruva Maharaj says, yes, I can do that. Similarly, Prabhupada, one time a devotee couple came to Prabhupada and they said, Prabhupada, things are not working out between us nicely. We want to get divorced. And Prabhupada says there's no divorce in Vedic terms. In Vedic society, there's no divorce. You must somehow or other work out, get advice from seniors, to tolerate each other and live in service to each other. The same couple, after 1 year, Prabhupada was visiting, and then they came back and said, Prabhupada, we tried everything, but we want to get divorced. Prabhupada said, okay, get divorced. Prabhupada didn't give any other explanation. And then afterwards, when the other devotees asked Prabhupada, said, Prabhupada, if there's no divorce in Vedic terms, why did you allow them to get divorced? So Prabhupada said, first I tried, and then things didn't work out. If I would have insisted that they still remain married and still try to tolerate each other, they will not do that. They will take divorce, and by doing that, they will also disobey the spiritual master. So to save them from that aparadha, we recite the 10 offenses, and the 3rd offense is to disobey the order of the spiritual master. He says, and that is one of the very grave offenses when you disobey the order of the spiritual master. And when we see that, when we, of course nowadays we don't see that quite often, we see that happening very subtly. People, the gurus also don't give instructions which is harder for the disciple to follow in certain ways. And the disciples also, subtly they present themselves in such a way that the Guru does not give that instruction, which is heavy. But then, if we really understand, if we are sincere in spiritual life, if we just follow what the authorities say, don't use our common sense, tolerate our minds banging to us. Why will that happen? Because something which we do not agree, something which is against our conditioning, but we are asked to do that. Krishna says in 3rd chapter, 33rd verse of Bhagavad Gita, then everyone must act according to their nature. But sometimes when the instruction is given which is against our nature, but we still have to do it, what will the mind do? It will protest. Just loudly protest, not only protest. And somehow or the other, if we tolerate, the instructions given to us, in the long term, it will be very much beneficial. Simple example like that, rising up early. The mind is not very happy. But when we rise early, after some time, it just becomes our nature, and it is so much beneficial to our spiritual life. Yes, so we understand that the Lord, the Guru teaches us, they give us the instructions, they tell us the philosophy, the practice, and then we follow. When we follow, we get the mercy. In the beginning, we have what we call, we approach the teachings in an intellectual manner. Yes, in an intellectual manner. Okay, you rise early? Yes, we rise early. So rise early means sleep early means eat early, finish everything early, and then, practice your spiritual life. We have to chant our rounds, so chant, rounds, increase our rounds, chant come to 16 rounds. You chanting 16 rounds? Yes, nice. Thank you. So we chant our rounds, we study, and this is the difficult part because so much is happening in our life that we don't take our time to study. But somehow or the other, we guard our time to study. Even 1 page, 2 page, 5 pages, that will help us in the long term very much. And our request with folded hands is that all of us should become gurus. It is not that guru is a position taken by only someone. Each of us. What does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? One who teaches the art of Krishna to someone else is a guru, and he wants every one of us to become guru like that. So in the beginning, when we start intellectually, but then slowly by practice, we experience this supreme truth. We actually experience it. No one has to tell us to rise early. No one has to tell us to chant. We actually like chanting Hare Krishna. We like associating with devotees. We like doing service. We like doing all those things which before was a bit of a burden for us. But now, and as if you ask people, they look forward to Saturday. They look forward to Saturday. One Saturday they don't come. Yesterday, not many people were here because of river fire. But next Saturday you see it will be like, double the packing. So, there's be double number of people. So what happens is that our intellectual acceptance of this truth becomes the acceptance from the heart. The Buddhi Yoga becomes Bhakti Yoga. The Bhakti Yoga is coming from the heart, not from intelligence. We actually want to love the Lord. We love coming here. We love the devotees. We love the prasadam. We love the kirtan. So Buddhi Yoga becomes Bhakti Yoga. Yeah. Now, one point we want to also make here. That is not that every time we have to use our intelligence. It's every time not to think that the awakening always involves intelligence. No. When we actually chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So what this does is the holy name pierces through the material coverings of mind, intelligence and false ego and touches our heart directly. So then the logic of all this what I've spoken doesn't apply. Yes, the logic has to apply when we want to approach everything intellectually. But when we start chanting, when we perform Bhakti Yoga, when we do these things, then logic doesn't apply that much. Krishna from within he gives the jnana deepena bhasvata. So from within, he lights the lamp of knowledge in our darkened heart. How does the verse go? 10, 11? Tesham, no. Agyan jamtama. Unkampartham, yes. Aham agyan jamtama. Nashyami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. So yes, Krishna then again, in the Chaturshloki, 2 verses the devotee acts and 2 verses Krishna acts. He says, yes, I give them the understanding by which they come to me. That's in the 10th verse. In the 11th verse, he says, I actually light the lamp of knowledge within their hearts. So the intellect doesn't work here. This is the mercy of Krishna, the mercy of Guru, the mercy of Prabhupada, the mercy of the Parampara. That works here. So when we sing the Guru Puja Aarti, what do we sing? Divya Gana Hriday Prakashito. Right? Prema Bhakti Jaha Vidya Vidya Vinasha Jate. What does that mean? So we must contemplate on what we are singing. What do we sing in Guru Puja? Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kuryakya. Guru Mukha, from the lotus mouth of Guru, any sentence any word which comes out, what do? Chitete Kuryakya. We always, as you know, you like written in stone, So how do you write on stone? The way you write on the heart, whatever the spiritual master says. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitete Kuryakya. And then, Arana Kuri Ho Mane Asha. No other desire I have except accepting the words of the spiritual master. What is the next one? Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite Avidya Vinasha Jate Vedegaya Jahara Charito. Yes, Prema Bhakti. Immediately, when we accept the words of Guru or the authorities as our heart and soul, Prem Bhakti arises. And the corollary is Avidya Vinasha Jate. Avidya, the Avidya is dissipated. Yes? So this is where, when we understand the Siddhanta, we practice. In practice also, like we can see, devotees are pushing hard and hard and hard to do more and more and more services. We've just had festivals, like we had Balram Purnima, then we had Janmashtami, Prabhupada's appearance here, Radhashtami. Then again, after everything is finished, then 3 more days of festivals. It needs a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. Like I was thinking, when we move here, I'll come to Mangalarti every Sunday. But this morning it was just like impossible for me. After Friday, after Saturday, and yesterday was very busy. But then still, okay, something has to be done. So, we do service this way, and then as Prabhupada says, that for not coming, you'll have thousands of reasons. But for coming, you just need one reason, and that is love. Love for Krishna, love for the deities, love for the devotees, love to hear like that. So many reasons not to come. Can you give some reasons? What reason not to come? Cold, okay. What else? Laziness, of course. Laziness is the root cause of cold, and this and that and all that. It's the root cause. Prabhupada says, the root cause of all the miseries is forgetfulness of Krishna. Is forgetfulness of Krishna. Yeah? So anything what we find miserable is forgetfulness. When in the association of Krishna, everything is blissful. So then, laziness, cold, what else?
Disease.
Sorry? Disease. Okay. Disease, of course, we have to juggle the challenges, and sometimes Prabhupada said, yes, you have to take care of your body so that you can serve in the long term. But then again, we have to understand that there's a nice article written by Satsuru Maharaj on disease being one of the obstacles in devotional service. I sent it to Aarti Priya Mataji to make us know, because she takes care of devotee care. So we must understand where you have to take how much care. There's a line to be drawn like that. So that's an obstacle to devotional service disease. But then Prabhupada also mentioned that yes, you have to take care of your body like that. So this way, when we understand that the instructions of the Supreme Lord, the spiritual master, the scriptures of pure devotees, when we follow them, then our own Atma Kripa, the mercy we get from our own self. So I thought this would be an ideal topic to discuss, because sometimes when the Shastras are not according to our emotions, we tend to not accept them wholeheartedly. But when we just understand, yes, no questions asked, Shastra and the authority of the spiritual teachers have to be accepted, then the progress happens very quickly. Any question or comment on this? Was it okay? Too much? Not relevant to the topic of the purport? Or
what if the Guru gives the instruction and we are not able to follow it? Is there anything like we have to follow it kind of a thing, or depending on our circumstances?
Give me an example.
Yeah, like for example, just an example, like we have to chant every round, like we did before 16 rounds in the morning. I can't do it in the morning. So is that I'm not following?
No, 16 rounds during the day.
No, doing that. But most of the say that we have to finish before.
So that's just a guide. That's not an instruction. It's a guide, right? So sometimes when Prabhupada, he gave us instructions. There were three. Rupa Vilas Prabhu gives in his book, Without Fear. He says three ways. One was Prabhupada's personal choice. If Prabhupada likes Kerala, he said Kerala is very good, but that doesn't mean if you don't like Kerala, you're not a devotee, right? Second is that according to context. So 16 rounds in the morning means the good quality rounds, because the mind is fresh. Then it's in the early hours when everything is pure. There's no other disturbance. So then that's the guidance given to us. Yeah. The third one, he says, according to scriptures or an order given on a specific occasion, yes, you have to follow that. So 16 rounds is a must. Ideally, the Gaudiya Vaishnava is 64 rounds. But Prabhupada says 16 rounds, so we accept Prabhupada's words as the authority and then chant 16 rounds every day. Now, in the beginning, that will be like a burden. As we know, the spiritual life is poison in the beginning, nectar at the end. Right? So in the beginning, but afterwards, then now if you, I challenge you, I shouldn't be doing that, but I challenge you, if you don't chant for one day, then you see how you feel. Not possible, because we like it. We like to be with Krishna. So that way, instructions are given. Sometimes instructions will be given, or even advice will be given, but we have to take as instruction. Advice will be given, okay, Prabhu, Mataji, for you, I would suggest, try to do this. I always tell people who come to me, I said, come here for 6 to 8 weeks in a row. Then you see whether coming here regularly is beneficial for your spiritual growth or no. If you come once in a while, that's nice. But if you come 6 to 8 weeks in a row and take part after that, get to know the devotees, start performing service, then you'll know, yes, this is actually beneficial. Why? Because we are trying to provide an environment here exactly according to Shastra. Loving devotional service. Not grudging devotional service. Yes? There can be grudging devotional service also, we see in some places. But no, it has to be loving devotional service. Yes, bro?
If I can just add something to that. Srila Prabhupada, in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in the paper, he mentioned this point. As you mentioned, at the start, it may be difficult, or we may be doing grudgingly. So Prabhupada in the paper mentions that at the start, one may not be able to follow all the instructions given. However, as long as one is not resentful. So the choices are two, that we are not able to follow, then the choices are two. One, we say, oh, this is bogus because I don't accept it, then that is being resentful, and that person will surely fall and not progress. But the other person will say, no, this instruction is genuine, but it is my weakness. And they are not resentful, but rather they are more repentant that, oh, I'm not able to follow Krishna, please allow me to follow. So that person, even though they may not be able to follow, but because of their humility, Krishna then bestows mercy upon them. So eventually they'll be able to follow. So when we are not able to follow something, we really, should be repentant and not resentful.
That's very good, Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Yeah. So this is not just book knowledge. It's actually an experiential knowledge that we experience the progress in our spiritual life. And automatically, then we start liking everything attached to spiritual life and getting detached from everything which is material life. We can see in our friendships also, in our association, in our likings. When what's that verse? For a yogi, it's what is day is night, and what is yes, Yanisha Sarvabhutanam. So Krishna says there that what is a day for a yogi is night for a karmi, and what is night for a karmi is day for. It just doesn't apply just for the day and night. It applies for our choices, it applies for our association, it applies for the food we want, it applies for even the decoration of our homes. Everything, we want everything nice and bright and colorful. Krishna likes everything. We want to give Krishna the best place to in our house. Whereas if you go in some houses which are not devotee houses, it's just like you won't be able to. There'll be a light, there'll be a dark media room there. Black everything, and you think, what am I going to do here? So, like that.
I don't feel comfortable, Prabhu. I don't know what I have experienced is if you go to the non-devotee side, I don't know if it is my thing. I don't feel comfortable.
Yes, so then we have to come to a stage where we are comfortable, but we can give Krishna to them. Yeah.
Then I always remember Prabhupada, how he went out when we went to.
Yes, that's the way to do. Yes, remember Prabhupada, pray for his mercy, and just things will happen. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I have that experience same as Mataji, that Paul Prabhu has an appointment in the city, and because he had an appointment for an hour, so he don't want me to wait, so he dropped me somewhere, and I don't used to be in the city all the time, so he dropped me. I didn't realize it was a Fortitude Valley, and then when I'm walking, I'm like, where I'm going, left or right, and then I just okay, go to the left, and I found out in the street, like, I'm like, oh my God, I was so scared. I'm not comfortable because it's all carving, all eating meat, and all doing carving. Like, I don't want to just like looking like a junkie, but yeah, it's like, oh my God, what I'm doing here? This is not the place I want to stay, and keep chanting, and then I said to him, pick me up, or you drop me off, because it's not comfortable that now you become purified. I feel like my body is being purified since I came here. It's been 2 years. I'm not eating meat anymore. I'm more chanting every day, and we do prasadam at home. And it was feel like when you see when we pass by, I'm like, oh, that's gross. Like advertising hamburger, like, oh gosh. Hopefully they know what you're doing, and now it's like, oh my God, it's like, sometimes I told people, I feel like we devotees become more intelligent than anyone.
Definitely.
Karmi, because I feel like if I be with my Karmi friends, I'm like, oh my God, we are a very different level. We understand more than they just eat and drink, and that's all they understand. They don't think about where we're going after this. So like, I wanted to teach about them, but not yet. It's true. We feel like uncomfortable being with the common people.
Yes, and last night, devotees, they went to Harinam at the valley, 8:45. They started 8:45, and if one time we should go to the valley for Harinam in the evening. is amazing experience. In the midst of the most hellish place, when devotees go, it is so nice because people love us. And after an hour and a half of chanting the holy name, they just don't want us to leave. They want to forget everything else what they came to do. They're just together with us and they don't want us to leave. That is the power of the holy name. That's why when we chant the holy name, Harekrishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It pierces. We sometimes don't realize that. But because it is coming from the Golokadham, Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana. So when you do Sankirtan like this, it pierces people's hearts. And then it touches, the core of the heart. And then the spiritual awakening happens. Anyone else, anything? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj srimadbhagavatam ki jai.
His Grace Sakirai Prabhu ki
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.